Hello, I'm Jason Cohen. The purpose of this video is to share my experience in the Harris County criminal justice system up until this point. I've been involved with them for about a year and a half. And based on like what's been going on recently in the world, Governor, or what's his name, General Milley, undermining Trump, John Kerry selling out the Israelis to the Iranians, all the shit they're not telling you on the media that's going down, that's really, really messed up, or Jen Psaki, period. No, let's not make this super political. But it's hard to divide the two because you have to understand that like our justice system is like 100% tied to politics. Like that's how it all works. It's government. And there's probably like an old thought that if you mind your own business, you'll be fine in America. And the truth is that's not true. There's such a broken, like with all due respect, and I'm not trying to undermine anybody or get anyone fired. Although, I don't even know if these people should be doing what they're doing, truthfully. And I'm saying that objectively, and I will present evidence as to why. There's this thing called evidence, which they generally need for a case. In mine, the only evidence that they have is an accusation from a woman that I was reckless driving. I'm not even getting into that. This purpose of this video is to sort of just point out to the court, because as you will see, it's very hard to communicate with them, like almost impossible. Like many emails go unanswered. The vast majority, if you call in, you can never get someone on the phone. Like out of 300 or 500 calls, you might get it one time on like an off chance that they're in the office or something. Which, when you're trying to participate in your own case, and that's another thing, like I've encountered that this court really favors attorneys, like just working with attorneys they work with on a regular basis, like kind of like it feels almost like a racket, and I'll explain that later. There's just so much, and there shouldn't be, honestly. As we go, that's my opinion. I'm of the opinion that there should not be this. And why am I making this video? I don't know. There's just so much going on in the world right now that it's just not adding up. That's not right. And at the beginning of this, I kind of was like going along with it, whatever, because you can't avoid this. This situation between me and this woman on this road, like I was driving my own business, not getting the facts of the case. I got to stay on track here. But that happened May of 2020. It is September of 2021. That's over a year and a half. That's too long for a crime. Reckless driving carries a maximum financial penalty in Texas of $200. I was pulled off an international flight and arrested over a $200 ticket over a situation that is, in my opinion, absolute nonsense, predicated on no evidence, and with obstruction of justice by the officer. This is what I would like to call an abuse of process claim. So abuse of process is a claim that one party can bring in the event that the court system has been used as a tool to injure people. If you're not aware, like court cases are really expensive, both time and money, and they shouldn't be, because you are innocent until proven guilty. So hopefully they're not prosecuting a lot of innocent people. I feel that they are, because Lina Hidalgo, oh my God, like currently requesting from the federal government more money to build more criminal courts. Like, that's wrong for two reasons. One, the courts they have now are dealing with, in my opinion, kind of nonsense like this. And two, what is she trying to create, like a Nazi-style police state? There was like an article that came out when she was like elected or whatever. It said, she's the first blah, 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 accept it or like deal with it or like something very rude. And I was just like, ooh, that's not good. It's just setting a tone, a negative tone by dealing with the police in this. When I was arrested on the plane, the tone of everything. This officer, the deceitfulness. So the way I'm gonna set up this video is we're gonna start with showing you the video that I made, because I've learned based on past experiences, www.claudiabonyman.com, that I've had with corrupt judges and corrupt police, that if at all possible, if you deal with police or anyone who claims authority, any of those guys that are getting paid by the government, record it, videotape it, timestamp, because here's why the playing field is not level. They have what they believe is indemnity, which is insane. Like, they can't be punished. They have outside abilities to like arrest people and steal freedom. They've been killing people. Like, police have been killing people. The jails have just killed people. Epstein, John McAfee. They're killing people. What happened to Ghislaine Maxwell? What happened to Bill Gates? What happened to John Kerry in Syria? What happened to, not Syria, Iran? That's crazy. What happened with COVID? Like, they're still enforcing the mask like 2 years later, but they haven't given you any explanation as to why or what or who's responsible. That's as I speak here. This shit is crazy. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to jump on anyone's day. I hope everyone has a great life. Truthfully, I hope everyone has a great life. I'm not trying to mess with anybody. But, I mean, the level of propaganda, you know, what the way, like, the current government and, like, whether it's, like, media figures or certain people, they call them Trumpers, or they're calling this Governor Milley, his excuse for colluding or speaking with China, the Chinese general, he should not have been speaking, period. Like, what the nerve of these human beings? They're just human beings like you and me. Where they messed up is in their own heads, where they believe they have the right to do this on behalf of 400 million people. The majority of people voted for Trump in 2016. Not debatable. So when they say like this like crazy, the majority of people really liked him. And let's not forget that. And I don't believe elections, you know, judges, and I don't know this guy, you know, I don't know him. Okay, but I'm saying judges are elected, and elections are weird right now, or they're supposed to be elected, but they're weird right now. No transparency with the cops. My beef is like, you don't know who these people are. They're rolling around your neighborhoods with like heavy duty pistols and ARs and bulletproof vests and attitudes out the feeling they have the right to stop anybody for any reason and predicate cases on no evidence just because their egos are hurt. You can judge for yourself in the video. And my biggest thing, okay, so there's so many things. My biggest thing today, what kind of set off this video, was it's a combination of like all the stuff that happened from COVID. I mean, this happened in May of 2020. We got locked down in March of 2020. Don't you think it's possible that some of the parties involved were a little bit stressed? I don't know, but to claim reckless driving and then put someone through getting taken off a plane, they stole my property. When I was in the jail stole my property. They stole my laptop and my camera for about 8 months. And I think the only reason I got it back is because I started sending motions to the court clerk, this Dolores Phillips lady. No offense to anyone. Dolores, Sedrick, the girl who's the DA who was in law school last year. I'm not trying to have beef with any of y'all. Respect. I know human to human, we're all trying to survive. But this has gotten out of hand, and I'll explain why it was very inconsiderate what happened. My case has been reset so many freaking times. So it's not bad enough like that this thing is maximum financial penalty, $200. My time is valuable. Everyone's time is valuable, and that's something that should be respected. I think that's a very reasonable thing to say. Respect people's time. Okay? They arrested me once. They should have never arrested me. I'll show you, like, okay, they should have never arrested me even one time. There was no need. All they did was Big Brother, Nazi, Gestapo, Soviet, KGB style, like go through my wallet, photograph all my accounts. They stole my laptop and camera for 8 months. They didn't release it with me with my things. They're like, oh, we just happened to find it. Happened to find it. I'm gonna show you the evidence for all this. I'm gonna show you the receipts, like when I picked it up, me emailing them. I'm backing up all this. This is just the prelude. So that's why I said this is gonna be long, but I'll try and make it as short as possible. Yeah, they stole my stuff. So, you know, judges are elected, and that's bad that all the judges in Houston are all Democrats now. Like, not say that's bad, but do you really believe in a city like Houston, Texas, it's all one party? Like, we're supposed to be the most diverse city in the country, right? I mean, we're just under this web of propaganda and this overreaching government. Like, during the time of COVID, if I was like a judge or a DA or a police officer, there's no chance I'd do stuff like this, because you're supposed to be compassionate. You're supposed to be a member of the community, a member of this society. We're always talking about we went to Afghanistan. We didn't go to Afghanistan. You folks went to Afghanistan and paid Raytheon to do it, who gave you some money back. I mean, I don't know. We are the ones carrying the debt, obviously, right? That's what you want us to believe. Only if we accept that fact as a reality. And I don't know. I just think the DA was in law school last year. This is like, it's clearly they're putting her in kind of like the BS case section. Like, give it all to the rookie. And then, but for her to pursue me, I don't know if that's someone telling her to do it. Like, oh, this guy had a big ego. He's like, blah, 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 talking with the cop. Or she's just overzealous and wants to do it on her own. Either way, it's wrong. And she needs to realize that it's wrong. There are implications. You have a life. I'm not taking you away from your family. I'm not taking you away from your job. You guys are doing that to me. I grew up in this neighborhood, like raised on these streets. I went to high school on the street we were stopped on. I was stopped by people I don't know. Some lady came from out of nowhere into my life. I'd never seen this woman before in my freaking life. My view, some medicated Karen in the house too long, driving weird. I didn't reckless drive anything. I was trying to get away from this lady. Which is, I mean, there's so many things. But anyway, if you don't appear for court, that's how they try and get people procedural with this reset. We're back to the resets. If you don't, they do this thing where if they don't want to go to court any particular day, they'll just reset you or whatever. But they demand that you be there, even if they don't see you. So if you're working, you miss work. If you're supposed to be somewhere, you can't be there. That's not okay. I looked up criminal procedure. I looked up the section for resets and continuances, and that right is not granted to them. Unlimited resets at will or at their leisure. It's very inconsiderate. I was in Europe before this. I have a life there. My girlfriend is there. I spend most of my time there because here kind of sucks. I mean, America's great. I love America. It's a great opportunity. But right now, it's really worrisome to the point that it makes me uncomfortable. Some woman should not be able to just come out of anywhere and point to some guy. This woman is older than me, by the way. On the video I said, this is like a Karen. Why she's picking on me? I don't know. I have some thoughts. I don't care, because it's based on my own life experiences as this person, as a human male, this age and this time. I felt things. Middle-aged, women sometimes are weird on me. Passive aggressive or whatever. I don't freaking know. I don't know. But the point is, there's so many failures in this entire process. I should have not had my stuff stolen. During COVID, the governor of Texas also said, this is another thing. I mean, there's so many things. Abuse of process claim. This one's a big one. Aside from the fact that the lawyers and judges and court clerks can speak freely, but if you try and participate pro se, which is your right, 1,000% equally, they don't speak with you. They don't even answer questions on a professional level so that you can participate. They would do that for a lawyer that came from out of state. They'd have to. I mean, that's just professional respect. The way this woman talks to me, it's you are low class trash, guilty until proven innocent. That's how she talks to me. This woman, Dolores Phillips, is not an elected official. She's the court clerk. Court clerks can be trouble too, because they're the ones that process paperwork. As you can see in ClaudiaBonneman.com, Julie Spencer, in that one. She wanted to try and block me from participating because I didn't pay enough money, a fax filing fee. And, or I owed them money to participate. That's illegal. I don't care if it's explicitly like spelled out in statute now. The Nuremberg trials happened after the Holocaust. I really think people need to retroactively go back and say, this was a crime, this was a crime, this was a crime. And truthfully, and I'm not pointing at anyone, but people that do bad things should, I mean, look, if I'm getting punished for this, if I went to jail for a night, I missed an international flight, had my property stolen, been utterly disrespected just on a personal level. The governor of Texas said during COVID that you are allowed to participate via Zoom, and it's encouraged. It's actually the requirement. I'm going to post that document also. They ignored me. I said, I just want to participate via Zoom. Did you get my motion to dismiss, which I submitted? Just many things when I was participating. I wanted to seek discovery from the district attorney. What do you have? Like, where's your evidence? Was the victim harmed? No. Is there any property damage? No. What are you predicating your case on? What is the there? What is the there? They wouldn't let me speak to the DA. When I showed up, when they demanded, I showed up, and they said the judge can speak to you in the court. He wasn't even there when I showed up that first time. So this happened in May 2020, apparently. My first court appearance was maybe, it was supposed to be January, then February, and then in February, there were some email exchanges that got pushed to April, and then June. I mean, they just kept dragging, and I said, I didn't ask for a reset, I just asked to participate via Zoom. And I don't know if they did that on purpose to try and get me out of the window, where it was the rule. I don't know what they did that for. I don't know why they're ignoring me. You can judge for yourself. These people are ignoring me. These are crimes being, in my opinion, in my view, genuinely speaking, these are crimes being committed against me. Why should you care? It could happen to you just as easily. And I'm putting this up there because if in the future this happens to someone else and they try and dick them around for a long time for something like we'll get into the case. But this has to do with, I came back a second time. I was in Europe. They gave me, after they've already arrested me. This was in January, I got arrested. Then I had court, came in court. The judge wasn't there. He was in, I don't know if he was in some other room or if he was at home because he was on Zoom. And there was just a TV there. I was like, weird, bro. I don't want this version of the future. You guys are trying to force this on us. I showed up. Where are you? And then they didn't really want to speak to me. And like, do you have an attorney? I was like, at this point, I called my friend, Jordan, who's a very good attorney. He's amazing. Very smart guy. I was like, and this is before that. I was like, this was probably sometime, like well before the hearing. And I was like, hey, I might just need a lawyer because they're ignoring me. And I've seen this before. And you have to, in life, you sometimes have to balance, like, is it right that I should need a lawyer and pay money and stuff like that? No, it's not right. But my time is valuable. And I don't want to get caught up with these people because they have nothing better to do. So this is their job. Like, they get paid to do this. And if they don't pull in people, they don't get money because they don't need, like, I would really, after my case, I would like to go through all the cases, like past, like whatever. And there should be like, the court systems should be so much more transparent. We should know who the judges are, who the court clerks are. You should be able to find out if these people know certain people or whatever. Because they could conspire against you. It's happened to me in real life. Evidence, ClaudiaBonneman.com. She was a judge in Tennessee. She resigned after my case. An appellate judge recused himself. It was a whole mess. So I don't take this stuff lightly. I'm sorry if this came off as impassioned. I'm kind of sick of the goings on in our society nowadays. These people are not, just because they're in a position that deals with laws and they make decisions on certain laws doesn't mean they can make up laws. It doesn't say anywhere that maybe, and here's another thing about statute, and this is just another thing. If statute is flawed, like there used to be slavery, weed used to be illegal. No, but seriously, like if there's a statute that's flawed, it should be discussed. Like justice shouldn't be delayed because life is short. You know what I'm trying to say? And like, My grandparents were Holocaust survivors, and I grew up hearing a lot of crazy stories. And it's weird because it sounds a lot like these stories. The Nazis were the National Socialist Party. National Socialist. They pretend to be socialists, but they're not socialists. They're actually just like kind of power hungry, mean people a little bit, who have like God complex. They feel like they can run other people. It's not right. Do I think there should be law enforcement? Of course, yeah, but I don't think they should be played with. I don't think they should be like, let's churn the highest number of low-hanging fruit because we need more courts and more judges and more people in this like social, crazy, bureaucratic system they're building, so they can tear down Beller High School. And God, the corruption going on right now is crazy. It's crazy. And I'm not saying these people are necessarily corrupt. They could just be like completely like, just. Do I think they're overwhelmed? Then why do they have my case? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, no, there's really no excuse for this. It's either they're, with all due respect, either they're inconsiderate or they're corrupt and they're using this as an abusive process. But either way, like, I think it's an abusive process just because even if they claim negligence, or this DA, this is her first year and she didn't know, how do they go from law school to being a DA? Don't they have to like practice somewhere somehow to know about like people and like even procedure? Hold that thought. Okay, good. Whew. Oh, yes. Breathe. So, you may be wondering why I just danced. I'm just so sick of like oppressive government and like rules, and just like, that's why everyone's walking around all like tense. And sometimes like you don't want to keep it in, you need to get it out. What I experienced during this case makes me feel uncomfortable in my home, in my environment, where I live, I view my experience in this case as being like utterly disrespected, my rights, my civil rights, and my human rights being totally disregarded. I have evidence here, which I will present. There will be haters. In fact, I think there's like Reddit colonies of haters that like they just post shit, and it's just like people that just hate on shit. Like they know if you post it in this forum, you get a lot of negative shit on your thing. Because I felt like I got like 4,000 views. Sorry, I don't know who these guys are. I like this song, that was pretty good. All right. But yeah, I like to get the blood flowing, you know, like before I have to like speak or whatever. And I think a lot of people would be healthier, you know, if they just spoke their mind, you know, when they needed to. Like, it has to. It's like almost like if you can go back in time and like just improve the lives of people around you by just doing what's best for you. For me right now, like I think these people have gone on long enough being like totally inconsiderate and disregarding any of my rights, any of my claims. Like I'm from that area. Who's protecting me when someone comes, like maybe like people that like to do insurance claims, you know, like insurance fraud, or people travel to wealthy neighborhoods to rob people? It happens. Another thing about dishonesty, like Houston crime maps, you go to Bel Air, it says no crimes in that area, or like certain, and I'm like, there were crimes in that area. They have it on their YouTube of people like breaking in and stuff. So it shows that they're like reporting. City of Bel Air Police Department is kind of inconsistent which was on LexisNexis crime maps. I don't know if they have to disclose it or whatever, but then that LexisNexis crime maps is kind of incomplete and not accurate. I mean, there's a lot of crime going on in Houston, really, really heavy duty crime, like robbery at gunpoint, lots of it. And that's like, I mean, I got over like trying to like rationalize my point of it, but they just, yeah, they did a lot of bad things. And I don't know if it's intentional, and that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not blaming them necessarily like outright, like, you know, this was intentional. It might not have been, but then it was like super like kind of inept and disorganized. You know, most people, when they make an appointment and threaten your freedom, which is what they did to me on multiple occasions, they actually didn't even threaten. They took my freedom. They took a day from me. I was getting on an international flight. They didn't compensate me for that. I've been injured. They had no right to pull me off of that. The flight was like, I don't know, a lot. Like many multiples of the $200, which is the maximum financial penalty. So I just ask that you approach this like totally unbiased. However you want to see it, whatever this is, because to call it a case is kind of like a sham. I view it as like, as I've said before, like, I would like to subpoena this woman's medical records because I think a lot of people are riding around in these streets, hopped up on God knows what. And that's why like our Congress is so like weird and divided and cold and like whatever. You're gonna tell me like Jen Psaki is sober? You can be that like mean, sober? You think Joe Biden is that animated sober? I mean, what the, like, his son is like a freaking, you know, I'm not judging, but I'm just saying that these imperfect people, see, I'm not judging, right? And I'm not perfect, but these people aren't perfect either. And when you don't have like a lot of transparency and a lot of disclosure for the police officers, I don't know. I'm gonna go with you about this Ballard, this guy. You see him? I should bring you closer. Hold on. Okay, so here we are. I don't know who these police officers are, and I think it's important that, like, you know, we start asking these questions. I think when elections happen, they should be much more transparent. we should be able to see, like, I don't know. I think it should be publicly disclosed. Like, I guess voting should be private if you want to keep it political, but at this point, like, I don't know. There's got to be, like, voter ID for sure. Like, yes, you need an ID to vote. You need an ID to be a citizen, to pay taxes. Now we can debate that whole system. But as it stands right now, there were generations and generations of people in the United States that paid taxes, worked really, really hard, weren't in government, like couldn't have indemnity. If they failed, they failed. And they sacrificed a lot of time, energy to build what this country is. And, with hundreds of thousands of migrants, I think everyone would have a good life. Don't bother me. But I'm the one stopped. Like, in this time, like this, for this sort of case to happen, I want to know who the people are. Who are the people driving around our neighborhood? Every police officer. Okay, let's not even get into voting or whatever, but every police officer, there should be, like, their background check posted. Like, who are these people? Where are they from? Like, where are they? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because if they're going to walk around with guns and judge you, there should be some sort of implied respect. Like, this person, or like, of this person, or like, because people can collude. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you got to be careful. Anyway, I'm going to play the video. I'm going to comment as I see fit. Then we'll get to Dolores' call. That really kind of made me upset because, like, I was in Europe and again, they threatened to arrest me at an airport. And I'm just like, I have actively tried exhaustively, way more than $200 worth. If I were in fact an attorney working on this case, I would have absolutely billed more for this. And I said in an early email that I just wanted to pay a ticket. I didn't even get a ticket. I was not given a ticket. I was just arrested. I was told that I was going to be arrested. More so, the cop came, and I want you to pay attention to this. The police officer, Bullard, this is very crucial. And, I'm speaking to people that may get some education from this. It may, like, kind of, like, help them navigate, because honestly, the system is skewed. Like, it's a group of people that work in this 24/7 for years with indemnity, so they don't always execute perfectly, because if they make a mistake, it's like, it's on you, citizen. No, you gotta stop. I mean, that's wrong. Doesn't it feel wrong? Anyway, let's just get into it. Ready? Why didn't she answer me? I told her I wish to proceed pro se. Why does she keep asking me for the name of my client? These are two separate emails. Like, she doesn't respond. But she didn't respond to that. Look. And attorneys can appear via Zoom, but they wouldn't let me appear via Zoom. So we spoke once on a Zoom call that reset my case from January 13th till February something. Truthfully, I'm unsure why at this point. I think because I requested to speak via Zoom, and then she just offered, hey, why don't we reset it? And I was like, well, that's not really necessary. I would prefer to just speak via Zoom because that was a directive based on the governor of Texas. Anyway, but we'll continue. Okay. So here we go again, January 19th. This is January 13th. So they reset my case again. January 19th. So they reset it to February now. Dolores, I still want to seek discovery from the district attorney because at the time of the stop, which I have a video of, there was no direct evidence. In fact, the officer did not even get my side of the story prior to charging me. Not only charging me, but saying you're going to get arrested. So not only accused, but charging. And then he asked me my side of the story, which proves that you have this like overzealous cop that doesn't really care, and this like bloated system that doesn't care as well because they all make money off of it, and they like to attract low-hanging fruit. So they'll pull anyone in for anything because it's no skin off their back. It just makes them look busy and gives Lina Hidalgo an excuse to. It really just skews so many things. Like Houston has a lot of crime right now, but they're not pursuing the criminals. I mean, people are flooding over the border, human trafficking, drug trafficking. They're not pursuing any of that. They're just kind of pursuing the low-hanging fruit. And like in my case, it's criminal at this point. I've had to fly in from Europe twice. And, you know, at the threat, like they're threatening to arrest me at airports. Like this lady, like, you know, they keep trying to put out warrants for me. And I'm like, I have an attorney. I signed him up. I've actually appeared in person. I have a life to live. I can't keep appearing in person just for you guys to like waste days of my life and then reset it at your leisure. That's not acceptable. No one, and if someone feels it's acceptable, that's not a part of society I am in. There's a lot of new people in this society, obviously, who have come in the last couple of years who are just really out of line with the way they live their lives and do business. And that's all I can say. But anyway, let's continue. See, this is where it turns into kind of like a racket, because I'm trying to get information from the district attorney. I'm proceeding pro se. I've said that twice in 2 separate emails. I'm trying to Zoom into court because all the attorneys I spoke to had no problem Zooming into court. And this is where a double standard of treatment in the judicial system, if you want to, in terms of representation, this is the racket. Like, it's just, it's kind of a little bit of a racket between lawyers and judges. It makes sense, kind of like the American Medical Association is like a racket, you know, like doctors and pharmaceutical company. I don't know. It's just, this is a racket, and I'll show you why. Dolores, one of the attorneys that I spoke with, a friend of mine who happens to be a criminal attorney, you know, he was telling me like the court, you know, won't speak to you. And then Dolores said the judge won't speak to me. But they're all making money off of it. Like they'll speak to each other readily, but I can't communicate with the court. That's not okay. Or they have a fast track to the court. Why? Like a lawyer is just an advisor. That's it. It's not a substitute for a person's independence and free will. And I think if they're intelligent to, you know, read criminal procedure and the law, they can defend themselves. I mean, I know that there's other sort of quote unquote legal sort of benefits, I guess, or whatever. That sounds like scammy a little bit to me, actually. You know, there's so much stuff built into this society that is really it sort of scams to sort of protect certain groups of people within society. And for all the lawyers out there that are really trying to do a good job, and I know some of them, I respect you, you know, like whatever, but these courts are deeply, deeply troubling. Anyway, February 11th, Dolores, can I Zoom into court today or tomorrow to speak with the judge? Thank you, Jason Cohen. He cannot speak with you, Mr. Cohen. What does that mean? Like, why am I getting incomplete communication? Like every 10th email might get like a slight response. That's unacceptable. This is supposed to be like justice. This is a court setting, right? Like, let's get back down to earth. They shouldn't run this way. It should be polite. It should be respectful. It should be transparent. It should be inclusive to the process. There's no secrets. There's no nothing. Like, this is like it's like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, you know? Like these people are just kind of like doing whatever they want independent of me. And it wouldn't affect me if it didn't like affect my freedom. Like these people are actively like threatening me with like putting me in jail and like, which is really, 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 really not okay. I view it as a crime, even if they don't. So let's continue. What do you mean? I understand he may be busy right now. As you may be aware, I have a hearing coming up February 16th, 9:30 a.m. However, I was hoping to get this taken care of before then. Were you able to forward the motion to dismiss to him that I submitted recently? If not, I'm attaching it again. If possible, can you please forward it to him now? Also, as per the directive of the governor of Texas, I would like all future appearances, including the February 16th one, to be via Zoom, as I have had past corona infection as well as numerous recent scares, and I don't feel these extra exposures are justified in my case. Thank you for your office's consideration and reasonable accommodation in this matter. Defendant's motion requesting case be dismissed due to lack of evidence. Dear Your Honor, Judge Sedrick Walker. And I'm being generous with that, honestly, because like the way these people have treated me, like, that's like, I guess, how they've conditioned, society to kind of act in this setting. But like, how often do you really see these people? Like, if you're lucky, you never see them. But like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why the courts have such little. Oh, anyway, whatever. Let's continue. Dear Your Honor, Judge Sedrick Walker, now comes the defendant, Jason Robert Cohen, and moves the course to dismiss the above entitled and numbered criminal action for the reason that there is insufficient evidence any crime took place. The evidence presented in the complaint is sufficient as all that exists is hearsay, an officer's statement based on an accusation. This is not evidence of a crime. After reviewing the video, so this is a side note, after reviewing the video, I realized that the officer Officer Ballard did not get my statement prior to charging me. And then only after I was like talking to him, I was like, yo, like, can you take you didn't even get my side of the story. He's all right, what's your side of the story? And he holds his body camera. Like he did not get my side of the story prior to just condemning me to like this whole insane process, which is a crime. It's a travesty of justice or a miscarriage of justice. Anyway, the evidence presented in the complaint is insufficient, and as all that exists is hearsay, an officer's statement based on an accusation. This is not evidence of a crime. So requisites of a complaint, you can look up criminal procedure or whatever, it was somewhere there. The complaint shall be sufficient without regard to form. If they have these substantial prerequisites, number 2, it must show the accused has committed some offense against the laws of the state, either directly or that the affiant has good reason to believe and does believe that the accused has committed such offense. Respectfully, unless Officer Ballard has superhuman psychic abilities, crystal ball, he has no reason to believe one way or another what actually took place based on one party's accusation without further evidence affirming this accusation. Meaning, like, this is so ridiculous. Aside from the fact that it's an absolutely one-sided case as they've sort of executed it, like, I'm a resident of that area. Where is my right to say this woman was trying to hit me with her car? And like, why isn't she like, when I'm viewing like what she's accusing me of and what I'm accusing her of, I don't feel like her claim is superior to mine in any way. Why hasn't she spent time in jail? Why didn't she have her property taken? Why didn't she have to make appearances that were reset, every time? I mean, that's taking days off. You can't do that to people. You can't, excuse me, I see the crime. And if you guys don't want to admit it, maybe it's going to take a change of something for this crime to come to light. And show that this has probably happened to a lot of people, a lot of abuse in these courts. These courts have been used as a tool for people that know how to use them, and that's wrong. Because people should just be able to exist in society peacefully and live a normal life. Respectfully, so when you bring a case, like a case must be predicated on some sort of injury. Like, was someone hurt? Was there a financial injury? Did their property get damaged? Like, why? Because otherwise, what's the point of being incurred? Like, if no one got hurt, this is stupidity. And you need some evidence of that. The woman was not hurt. Her car is not unscathed. And as someone who has seen courts used to take advantage of people, this is insanely wrong. Insanely wrong. You need a photograph. She's not hurt. This is stupid. So yeah, unless he has like crystal ball, like we're talking about reckless driving, you need a video of the driving. You need an officer firsthand something. And even those are probably kind of like skewed because the way these officers lie through their teeth. You need something, right? Okay. There's nothing in this case. And so respectfully, unless Officer Ballard has superhuman psychic abilities and a crystal ball, he has no reason to believe one way or another what actually took place based on one party's accusation without further evidence affirming this accusation. Officer Ballard's statement is misleading as he did not affirm that he was a direct witness to any of the events mentioned in his complaint. He simply restated an accusation. This is not evidence of a crime. It is simply an unsubstantiated accusation. Therefore, because there is no evidence of a crime, no evidence of property damage, no evidence of injury to any person or property of any kind, this case should be dismissed to relieve undue burden on the defendant who asserts he is not only innocent, but in fact the true victim. The defendant, Jason Robert Cohen, 33 years of age, has no prior criminal record or convictions whatsoever. He spent over 20 hours in the jail, which he feels is a punishment in and of itself. While in custody, his laptop and GoPro camera were stolen from his backpack. While in the possession responsibility of the county jail and while his property was in custody of the jail. He realized this upon his release. Like, what the hell? Not only, like, they're stealing from people. It's like when you have corrupted mentality, it corrupts throughout. It's sort of like a cancer. It just spreads. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I guarantee there's been theft from people's bags in that jail, because there was on AVO with like Lisa Strauss. Like, I have evidence that there was other people that had complained about this, and these people aren't answering my emails. Dolores and they have these like artificial layers of protection. So like the judge knows what's going on, the DA maybe knows what's going on. They're all in the same office every day. So for them not to answer my questions, for them to threaten my freedom again, not okay. That's a crime. For someone like Dolores, who's not an elected official, to not only like be ignoring me, but then try to assert, like, she's trying to like pin a crime on me, like that she created. And it's like, wow, that is really, really not okay. It's really, really not okay. Okay, so let's continue with this. Please see Exhibit 1. This is an exhaustive list of 8 items brought by the district attorney as of, so I went to confirm, with the evidence clerk, whatever. I couldn't get in touch with the DA, but just to confirm that was all the evidence they had before I sent this. If this is in fact the exhaustive list of evidence brought by the prosecution, this case should be dismissed for lack of evidence and an inability to meet the burden of beyond any reasonable doubt. Further, reckless driving in Texas, defined as a transportation of blah, blah, blah. A vehicle is in willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property. In Officer Billard's complaint, Officer Billard further asserted that the defendant stated that the complainant kept trying to strike his vehicle. He threw the drink at her vehicle to try and tell him to leave him alone. The defendant continued to state that the complainant was the aggressor. In Texas, as of September 1st, we have no license for concealed carry. Clearly, people are defending themselves with firearms and walking around our city. Someone throwing a Whataburger styrofoam cup that was empty or almost empty, I was drinking it, at someone who is actively trying to like ram their car into theirs. Like, this street has only 4 lanes. There's not much maneuvering ability. When she's actively like, if you need to act in self-defense, or if you react in self-defense, it's not like premeditated or anything. You're just kind of like, something comes out of nowhere and you're like, whoa, you don't know what to do. It's not reckless. It's like unintended victim of some lady who's trying to hit you with your car. But further, if there's no evidence of anything and no one got hurt and no one's property was damaged, maybe it was best to move on. But for just to put me through this, while this other lady who is not innocent is not pulled in equally, that is wrong. She needs to have equal treatment, or the court is liable for administering justice unlawfully. Leave him alone. And the defendant continued to state the complainant was the aggressor. Why wasn't she pulled in? I mean, if it was her word against mine, and that's all that exists, why wasn't she pulled in equally? As such, the burden by the court to reach a level beyond any reasonable doubt in order to convict the defendant for reckless driving is impossible based on the available and proposed evidence. And furthermore, this alleged evasive maneuver can and should be considered as self-defense and may have in fact been reactionary without premeditation, intent, willful, or wanton. Okay, why he didn't respond to this? Maybe he knew that, like, I'm not an idiot that's going to get dicked around. I don't know. The judge is absolutely not engaged in this case whatsoever. As you see, he's not responding to anything. But yeah. Anyway, Mr. Cohen, I've discussed your case with Judge Walker. He asked me to reset your case for April. Months more now. That's not right. You will be required to appear in person on this date. The court set on 2/16 will be rescheduled, and the judge will speak to you this day. Please ask Judge Walker. I don't understand why I would be forced to endure 2 months more of this burden hanging over my head. I feel as though Judge Walker can speak to me well over Zoom and should, based on the governor's directive. Governor's directive. It's like that judge in Dallas who was like going around the governor with the mask mandates. It's like, this is not law anymore. This is not law and order. We have entered a period of very worrisome times based on these people's behavior. All I can see this allowing for is an opportunity for me to forget my appearance date and risk some procedural warrant and additional headaches for not showing up. This is very important. So the judge won't speak to me. All I can see this allowing for is an opportunity for me to forget or whatever, and then for them they don't care about causing problems for you. And that's not okay. It's not even inconsiderate. It's criminal. It's a criminal racket. I honestly, I'm trying to sugarcoat it for them, but the more I look at what's going on, and the more I look at how it's sort of how I've been treated through this, it feels like a criminal racket. Pushing the case further back only presents the opportunity for this additional mental anguish and burden for me, which I feel is unfair. This is February 11th. As I speak to you today, it is Sunday, September 19th, 2021. This happened in May of 2020. Max financial penalty is $200. These people can't speak to me anymore with a straight face and tell me that all this back and forth, Officer Ballard, the heavy-set blonde lady, the 4 other officers that were there that day, Dolores, Judge Phillips, the girl that was in law school last year who's the DA, who I haven't even been able to speak to at all, or her information has not been provided to me. All of these people are eating on taxpayer money, screwing with a taxpayer. It's as someone who has paid a lot of taxes in Harris County and has seen his family pay a lot of taxes in Harris County, they have taken our money and used it against us. This is not a crime. I did not commit a crime. I was driving, minding my own business. This procedure is a crime. What took place here is a crime. Stealing my property was a crime. This lady I don't know if she's super disorganized and then tried to flip it on me. I'm not really sure what happened with Dolores Phillips. I don't care. I have a right not to care. I have a right to pursue my own life. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, unencumbered by this group of people that are not doing their job. They don't have the ability to say, "Oh, we're just in the court, we can do whatever we want." No. Sorry. Pushing the case back only presents the opportunity for the additional mental anguish and burden for me, which I feel is unfair. The incident happened during and under the time jurisdiction of Governor Abbott's directive. I will attach screenshots now for your consideration. I would like to continue my original hearing date, February 16th at 9:30. However, I would respectfully ask the court respects the stated guidance. I mean, this is a month in advance. You know what I'm saying? For them to say they can't schedule me. They don't schedule a month in advance. They schedule 4 months in advance. They need to get these cases heard, done, and justice moved on. The only thing all of this craziness allows for is a bloated court system with a lot of people that are eating off of it. And because of that, they have an incentive to protect their end. And they don't care. They don't care to inconvenience you. This was in my file. This was located in my file. Courts may not convict in-person proceedings contrary to the guidance for all of the COVID-19 pandemic. Courts must continue to use all reasonable efforts to conduct proceedings remotely. So you have a defendant who actively wishes to participate pro se, who requests this reasonable accommodation that is codified in emergency order by the governor, who is the highest office of this land in Texas. I'm really unsure I don't know if they're trying to, what they're doing now. Allow or require anyone involved in any hearing, deposition, or other proceeding of any kind, including but not limited to a party, attorney, witness, court reporter, juror, petite juror, to participate remotely, such as by teleconferencing, video conferencing, other means. So after this whole botched thing in Iraq, it's Iraq or where are we, Afghanistan? Who knows? They've just been doing this to us for years. Blinken appears remotely to testify through Congress. You have this group of people that feel like they're above the law, that feel they can twist the law as they wish, and that's not okay. Including the racket that I've exposed, but whatever. Mr. Cohen, the court has asked I set your case for April 6th, which I have done. The court has asked? You mean Judge Walker has asked? I mean, what do you mean the court? It's some big thing? It's you two people in a room. You're required to appear in person on this date. But didn't she say if I had an attorney, it could appear for me? Multiple times? See, defendant signature. I didn't. I didn't sign it. Hold on. So let's keep going. Can't speak to me. So this, they said, please appear. I said, excuse me, I did not ask for this. Can you please answer my questions? But the main thing about it is I mean, I know what they're trying to do, and that's why I set it up here. They don't answer anything. No. See, that was me being polite at the beginning before I realized what kind of people these are. He cannot speak with you. Where is it? I'm just going to say this again. I don't understand why I'd be forced to endure 2 more months with this burden hanging over my head. I feel as though Judge Walker can speak to me well over Zoom. I mean, he loves Zoom. When I made an appearance, he was not in the room on Zoom. And they were threatening my freedom with making that appearance. And when I get there, this lady says, "Oh, we're not talking here." Literally, there was a guy that walked out of the courtroom and gave me a hug and said, "I love how you handled yourself in there." I was like, if we don't stand up for ourselves, they're literally going to, I mean, I don't want to speak to the future that they're sort of walking towards, but, I can't go down not speaking. Yeah. Like I have to speak up now, for sure. I don't understand why I would endure 2 more months with this burden hanging over my head. I feel as though Judge Walker can speak to me well over Zoom and should based on the governor's directive. All I can see this allowing for is an opportunity for me to forget my appearance date and risk some procedural warrant and additional headaches for not showing up. Pushing the case further back only presents the opportunity for this additional mental anguish and burden for me, which I feel is unfair. The incident happening during and under the time jurisdiction of Governor Abbott's directive. I will attach the screenshots now for consideration. I would like to continue with my original hearing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no. Forget my appearance or whatever, something comes up and some procedural warrant and additional headaches for not showing up. They love this stuff because it just gives them more work. Period. All right. So, let's stop it here. So fast forward to April. I fly back and I make an appearance for this guy. Maybe I would get to speak to the DA and see why they're pursuing such a BS case, or if they are in fact pursuing the BS case for her to turn over the evidence that they have to see, is it real? Is it whatever? Let's see what you have. What are you predicating your case on? Or even to, a million things. I couldn't speak to the DA, couldn't speak to the judge. When I got there, the judge wasn't in the room. It was a TV where the judge was sitting. It was really worrisome. These people did all this. This was not prescribed in statute, putting a TV where the judge used to be in all these Zoom calls. No one voted on any of this. They just kind of they overstepped their power a lot and just started doing stuff, as I see here. And I can't chalk it up to being inconsiderate because it's not just inconsiderate. There's more to it. Inconsiderate would be too kind, just to say these people are inconsiderate. To say they're disorganized, for sure, probably, because there's no incentive to be organized. There's no oversight. Anyway, fast forward to April 6th. I go to make an appearance. Is court today? How do I participate? You appear in person in the setting. But she said I could have an attorney, whatever. It's very strange. I can show you 3 or 4 emails that are just direct conflicting to one another. I'll be there in 15 minutes. Please check in with my deputies. I checked in. So this is where it's really, really nasty. I get there. The judge isn't there. The DA isn't there because my DA was a woman and the DA that was on the little Zoom television was a man. So they made me come in and my district attorney wasn't even there in the room, or the person who's prosecuting, the person prosecuting this case wasn't there in the room, for the whole, I was there for, I don't know, a while, and she wasn't there. She wasn't there ready to be involved in a case. Maybe she doesn't have to be, I guess. I don't know. The judge wasn't there, except they demanded my appearance. Dolores wasn't even there. She had there was 2 officers, 2 bailiffs, I guess, 2 guys with guns to make you intimidated. And then there was 2 sub court clerks, 2, young Latino women who were working there. And that was it. That was, and then there was a few people in the audience, and it was very, very strange. Then Dolores came out. I said, I'd like to speak to the DA, and she started barking at me we're not doing that right now. I'm just well, when can I speak? This is court. We've been talking back and forth for 4 months now. You've been in my life for 4 months. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? And I come to court, and she's being rude to me, and then the bailiff's just okay, so I told her then that she's do you have an attorney? I was yes, because she was ignoring me before. And her actions by ignoring me and ignoring my ability to participate pro se drove me to just get an attorney and that's the sort of racket is like, because when I tried to, speak to this one attorney who happens to be friends with Dolores Phillips on Facebook, he told me, yeah, like the court doesn't really doesn't usually speak to defendants, pro se defendants, they only speak to attorneys or something to that effect. I'll include that at the end. But I was just like, so it's kind of a racket. They like kick the cases back to each other and like, I don't know. It was very, very strange. But anyway, I told her, my attorney, Jordan Torrey, and she wrote it down. Like they printed it on the paper. And then, so let's see. Mr. Cohen, did you leave the court without reset or speaking with the court? I spoke to you. You told me like the judge wasn't even there. Basically, I was told to wait outside or something to the effect of like, they're going to process my reset again, because now they're resetting it because I told them I have an attorney. And then they're like, okay, we'll reset it and then we'll speak to your attorney. So they put his name on the thing and that was it. And then she calls me back and she's like, oh, you didn't have an attorney, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, I did. You guys printed it on the form actually. So this is like the second time she tried to like catch me in something. Like, did you leave court? Did you leave without a reset or speaking with the court? I don't know, just the tone of it. It's kind of like, it's really strange. I don't know how to explain it exactly. It's sort of like someone that tries to like, maybe it's called gaslighting or something. I don't know. So maybe there's like a new word for it where they like try and, there's all these new words, there's all these people doing weird stuff. You have all these new people coming. And so when these new people come, they bring new ways of doing business. And I don't know. But yeah, she's trying to like it's innocent until proven guilty. Period. End of story. Like we can't get away from that. It's innocent until proven guilty. There's just so many things that the way she speaks to me is kind of like, she's trying to catch me in something, like, oh, did you leave without, I was there. I came to speak. The DA was not there. The judge was not there. He was there on the little TV speaking to someone, I guess. It was very, very strange. So that's why I'm saying, like, if he's going to appear on Zoom anyway, why do you continually insist that I keep coming in person? And then sometimes you say I can bring an attorney. All this inconsistency is criminal. I'm not even going to chalk it up to like being inconsistent. It's criminal. It's criminal. So this is what I wrote back to her. I was like, you told me to appear to speak to the judge. I did. Then when I appeared, you said again that I could not speak with him. Then your bailiff told me to wait outside. So I did. I perhaps went to the restroom. I returned and sat in the courtroom for about another 45 minutes and no opportunity to speak to the judge. The bailiff handed me this case reset form and I left. This case is beyond nonsense at this point. The bailiff handed me this case reset form and I left. This case is beyond nonsense at this point, and the procedural element has been executed terribly. I feel like my civil rights and my right to a fair and speedy trial were denied. Sixth Amendment. I did not get to seek discovery from the district attorney, which is something I wanted. I wish to see the full extent of the evidence used to create the circus which has injured me. Stolen property aside, I am very upset about all this. It's worrisome to see this in Houston. No consideration by the courts for people's times or common courtesy, just a whole lot of rudeness and speaking down to people. This is not right. Regards, Jason Cohen. Hey, what's up? I'm trying to get Wi-Fi. Yes.
I don't have a lot of time, and you're not going to have much to say, but I'm going to pass the phone on to the court coordinator, and you got to listen to her, all right?
Okay.
And don't make a defense on your case. Just listen.
Okay.
All right, so I'm not sure why you didn't appear in person today because you were required to appear. That was the signed agreement saying that you would be here. But you didn't appear the last day. So instead of revoking your bond, the judge is down for today. Let you for bond forfeiture, meaning that you did not appear this morning. Your bond was forfeited and a warrant was issued. So where are you?
Jordan, can you answer for me?
No.
Okay.
You need to tell me.
So the last time I actually showed up, the court coordinator or whoever the lady was, Dolores Phillips, is that you? Okay, so I wanted to speak to the DA, I wanted to speak to the judge, and you guys made me show up in person, and the judge wasn't even in the room. And no one made it clear to me, truthfully. Okay, I just want to finish my statement.
No one made it clear to me to be there. In fact, everyone indicated to me that, like even the bailiff said, let your attorney handle it from here on out. I did. I came and I said, Jordan Torrey, for sure. That's why we reset it.
You did not have an attorney at that time. He just is here now to find out your case.
No, I know, but when I came in that day, yes, ma'am. But listen, okay, go ahead.
You did not have an attorney. You were required to appear because you did not have an attorney. I'm not going to argue with you.
No, I had an attorney last time, and that's why and when I appeared, I said I had an attorney. That's why you guys let me go.
You
Okay.
signed a okay. This
Okay.
is what we're going to do.
Okay.
Either you're going to be quiet, you're going to listen to me,
Okay.
or I'm going to let the judge know that you failed to appear and let him decide if you want to revoke your bond.
I mean, it's been reset so many times against.
I'm asking you where you're at.
I'm in Europe actually right now. This is where most of my life
How
is.
long are you going to be in Europe?
I don't know because I can't come back if I'm going to get arrested again. This would be a second time for a case that I feel like I'm absolutely innocent and I feel like I'm being abused in.
Listen to me.
Yeah.
Listen to me. You're not going to have a warrant. Hold on just a second. Please do not approach the bench until the judge calls on you. Thank you. Counsel, yes, looking around. I'm not going to do it. Thank you. Guy, let him know.
Hello?
Do not stand in line. Do not approach the bench. That's all you have a list going.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this is what I'm going to let you know.
Okay.
Your schedule, your case is here reset for September the 14th. You need to be in court with your attorney on September the 14th.
Okay.
In person. Okay? You don't have a warrant right now.
Okay.